In today's video, we're cooking up a salmon pesto pasta that's delicious, fresh, and it's the perfect midweek dinner. Check it out. First things first, I have a pot of water coming up to a boil where I am going to cook up my pasta. And while the pasta is cooking, then I'm going to prep my salmon. I'm prepping my salmon by patting it dry with a paper towel. Then I'm going to season it with some salt and pepper just so it tastes really good. And I'm going to set that aside. In this large skillet, I'm going to heat up a little bit of oil. And I also have a little bit of butter. The first thing I'm going to do is saute my onion. Let's give this a quick stir. So we're going to cook down these onions for about 2 minutes until they've softened up and they're no longer raw. To the onions, I'm using some cherry tomatoes. You could also use grape tomatoes, or you could even use a can of diced tomatoes. Make sure you drain it if that's what you have on hand. Now again, you don't want to super cook down these tomatoes. You want to leave them whole but just juicy, about 3 or 4 minutes. So now I'm just simply going to remove the tomatoes and the onions out of the pan into a bowl or a plate. So I'm going to be adding these back in later. But now they're soft and partially cooked, just what I want to be tossed with my pasta. Now my pan is still hot and there is leftover oil and butter on it. So all I have to do is take my salmon and start cooking that right on my pan. Now this salmon is gonna cook for about 3 to 4 minutes per side. It's going to depend on how thick your pieces of salmon are. So once cooked on the first side and it's golden, it has a nice crust, you're gonna flip it over and cook it until it's flaky, it's fully cooked through on the sides, and it easily separates with a fork. At that point, once it's cooked, we're gonna remove it and place it in a plate because we're gonna use the same pan to make our sauce. Now that our pasta is finished, I'm going to reserve some pasta water, set that on the side, and drain it out of the pot. So now that our salmon is out of the pan, we are gonna make our sauce. I'm leaving all the tidbits of the flavor and everything in here, and I'm simply going to add a little bit of half and half to the pan and about 1/4 cup of the reserved pasta water. So I'm going to bring this sauce to a simmer before I add the rest of my ingredients, like the pesto, which is what's going to infuse this dish with lots of flavor. So now that the sauce is simmering is when I'm going to add my pesto. I just made this pesto in another video. I'll make sure to link that for you so you can make pesto without pine nuts. And we're gonna stir this around. Now I'm gonna add my salmon back in the pan. Yes, you see the big chunks, but don't worry, it's perfectly cooked. So I just separate it into large flakes, just like that. Make sure everything is coated with the sauce. And now that my salmon is in, I bring back my fresh tomatoes and the onions. Give these a quick toss as well. And the final step is to add my pasta right back into that same pan. And you may need a second spoon to help you out and toss everything in the pan. You're gonna reduce your heat to low. Now the final step is to juice half a lemon right over the top. It's gonna give this such fresh flavor right over this pasta. Just a little bit more fresh basil. And of course, we need to plate some and try it. So fresh, so good. The measurements to this recipe are always going to be right below in the description box, and make sure to watch this next video for more delicious recipes. See you guys next time.